Hi, everyone. We are going live stream. I'm going to type in here to welcome you all. I've got my microphone. Finally, I didn't forget it this time. I'm going to say hi. Okay. Well, I thought it was a good day to do a live because I'm just going to check, make sure I can be heard here. I thought it was a good day to go live because this was quite the day today, quite a hectic day today. And I thought I would share at least what's happening on the West Coast here. Like, what is going on? Let me just center this, make sure we're good to go here. And just waiting for a few more people to enter. Because, oh my goodness, did I see so many people with COVID today? There is another virus going around besides that. That's not COVID. Again, I'm in the southwestern part of the United States, so there's a lot of scratchy throats and headaches and not feeling well. But I have to say, yeah, we're seeing a lot of COVID right now. And again, you can tell I've had a long day. I'm kind of a little bit of a mess today. Yeah, you can just tell it's like, okay, it's that time of year. I mean, this is what happens in the fall. It's going to be seasonal. We'll see it in the fall. We'll see it in the spring. But here it is again, perfect timing, right? Heading into September and COVID is back. So I did want to go into more detail why lactoferrin is such a phenomenal molecule and how it can, it has antiviral properties. It has anti-cancer properties. It has antifungal properties. And so the National Institutes of Health put out a really interesting article called The Lactoferrin Phenomenon. And why I bring this up is the video that I just put out, I don't know, a half an hour ago. I talk about how they did a study out of Florida State University treating the COVID virus in mice with diphenhydramine, which is Benadryl, and lactoferrin. Right, because lactoferrin binds to the ACE2 receptors. It's part of what's in your cell and inhibits the spike protein from going in and doing damage. So the really cool thing about lactoferrin, or the miracle molecule, it's found in milk, cheese, kefir. It's also found in meats, shrimp, things like that. And I did want to tell you, this is just an interesting sentence from that article that I found, is the function of lactoferrin is that it's a protective agent, and it's also dubbed the miracle molecule. It's an endogenous protein with a number of attributes like antimicrobial, antiviral, antioxidant, immunostimulatory, and binding DNA properties. And so then the article goes into how they've been studying it for treating viruses, certain types of oxidative stress, supporting the immune system. And so I'm not going to read the whole article here because we're going to do a live stream and I want to hear your comments and thoughts and questions. But I will refer you, if you want to read about lactoferrin, you can head to the NIH, or the National Library of Medicine. And the name of the article is The Lactoferrin Phenomenon, the Miracle Molecule. And I love it that you don't necessarily have to, hold on, let me find my place here. You don't have to, go out and buy an expensive supplement. It's in natural things. Now, I know not everybody drinks milk or is a dairy person. I know I have a lot of viewers that are vegetarians and whatnot, vegans, and I think that's amazing. You do you. But, I do like some half and half or whole milk in my coffee. I know I'm not going to live forever, so I am going to enjoy some things. If I can get organic and free range, or, because I do want animals treated ethically, but lactoferrin is in higher concentrations in milk. So sometimes at night I'll do like the real sugar-free, because the Hershey's cocoa powder, and I know there's probably an organic brand out there and I've bought it before, but Hershey's cocoa powder, I'll mix it in milk, and then I might put like a little bit of stevia in it or some cinnamon, and then I'll heat that up. Like, there's my lactoferrin. As far as diphenhydramine in the study, and again, this wasn't a human study. They studied this in mice. But what we know about diphenhydramine or antihistamines like hydroxyzine, that also stops mast cell dysregulation. And that's the problem that leads to things that's called the cytokine storm. You have these things called cytokines in your immune system. And that can lead to like your high fevers, your inflammation, and a cytokine storm out of control is how a lot of people died during the Spanish flu back in 1918. And so I just, and I know I've had some people comment, well, Benadryl can lead to Alzheimer's and dementia. Yes, certain antihistamines have been linked to dementia, but that's like using it chronically and kind of overusing it. I'm a fan of, oh God, can you guys hear me? Sorry, me and my microphone. It's best to use as needed. So I don't take diphenhydramine myself, or do I recommend to my patients to take it every night? I don't think that's a good idea. Again, I don't recommend hardly taking most supplements every day. It just depends what you're doing, except I do love taking vitamin C as much as I can. I take my women's multivitamin. Yes, I do. But anyway, but when I'm starting to feel a scratchy throat come on, like, and I was exposed to COVID all day long today, you can tell I'm like, although I am a little kind of, I'm going to need to get good rest tonight because I do not want to get it. But sometimes I'll take I'll take my Benadryl, my big glass of milk, just because I'm like, it's not going to hurt me. And if they're studying it, yeah, it's not a cure. I'm not saying that. You can look at the research. I noted the article in my last video. Well, let's do some hellos. So, hi, Regina from Delaware. Hi, Loretta. Thank you for being here. Hi, Laura. And then we have Kimberly. We've got Bill, Sandy, Val from Canada. Hi, Val. SoCal Vlogger and Tom Michael. Yeah, Canada. Canada's in the house. But yeah, so, I kind of wanted to, bring up that simple information you all can read about. And I know you're all very well informed and educated people. I would love to hear your thoughts and comments on that. And I'm pretty transparent with my patients. If I'm talking to them about Benadryl and lactoferrin, I'm like, here's the research from Florida. You can read the article yourself. These are over-the-counter supplements. I'm not saying it's a cure, but if we know lactoferrin can bind to the ACE2 receptors in the cells, which makes the spike protein not able to bind to that receptor, and lactoferin's in milk, and by the way, and I love yogurt too, love frozen yogurt, well, then I'm going to have that, right? Because it's maybe some extra protection. But, for our friends that are lactose intolerant, maybe they can look into, there's certain types of meats and shrimp that are high in lactoferrin, but the dairy, like the milk and the cheese and kefir is the highest. Lactoferrin can be bought as a supplement, but I'm not trying to tell you what to do because I'm not diagnosing or treating you over YouTube. So I'm just saying, like, if you haven't heard about this, I did go to a medical conference, and the doctors there, we were talking about, like, have you heard about lactoferrin? Are you using that with your patients? Like, we were all talking about lactoferrin, but you can read the research. It's out there. Okay, so we also have T-Bear, Minnesota, yay. Betty, Stephen, Texas. David's here from Ohio. Old Mr. Howard, colostrum. Back in the day, everyone was talking about that. I personally haven't used that in my practice. There's just so many other things I'll do. But yes, I've read many things about it. I just haven't personally used that with my patients. And BA is here. Thanks for being here. But yeah, are you guys seeing COVID on the uptick in your area? Because a lot of my patients were asking me, because I put a monkeypox video out months and months and months ago. Nobody watched it, but anyway, it's really for my business website that my patients use. Because people were getting alarmed about that. But I've said it before, I'll say it again. Mpox is not a new virus. It's been around since the 1960s. Has it been mutated? Yeah, that's possible. But there's no cases that I know of in Arizona right now. And I know the rumor was that it was going airborne. But I need to do research and fact check that, because that was not the case several months ago. So I don't know. I can't say for sure because I don't want to give wrong information. But all I'm saying is there's no cases in Arizona. We're seeing lots of COVID right now. That's what's going on. That being said, I'm not seeing it being severe. It's more just the big symptoms were, headache, scratchy throats, eyes looking like, when someone looks sick, their eyes just look like tired and puffy. Uh, um, yeah, just kind of feeling like body aches, some joint pain. Um, oh, you had 7 residents last month with COVID, and yeah, so I think it is on the West Coast doing its little fall uptick. We're going to see this every season. San Diego's here. My dear death experience, she's here or he's here. I'm not sure. um, this comment says, I'm still scared of riding the bus and I avoid crowds. Yes, because unless you have the particular respirator mask, the masks don't work unless it's the respirator mask that you have to get. It comes in small, medium, large. It's the kind where when you put it on and you blow like you should not feel any air coming out. Some of them have N95. That's what I'm trying to say. If it needs to be the N95 respirator mask. If it's anything else, no. Like if there's any folds or dents, then no, the virus is going to get in through that. Like, right? So, but I've had COVID 3 times, so I'm going to live my life, and it's to me, you've got to get good sleep. So I plan on after this, I'll probably just go to bed. You've got to get good sleep. Sunshine. I know when I had it, I think I laid out on the couch because we have a little patio couch outside. I laid on that couch, I want to say for 3 hours in the sunshine. I didn't get burned because if you take enough antioxidants, like, again, I'm not telling you what to do. Ask your own doctor, right? Let's be clear. But if you take enough antioxidants, like I eat a lot of blueberries and dark berries and strawberries, and I take my vitamins, and I take my N-acetylcysteine. And if you're not familiar with NAC, NAC is really interesting. There's a channel on YouTube. He's an ICU doctor. It's Roger Seaholt. And he said he survived treating patients in the ICU because he was taking N-acetylcysteine every day, which is NAC. NAC converts into glutathione in the liver, in the body, which is the most potent antioxidant that your body can synthesize. But if you're not getting enough N-acetylcysteine in your diet, it comes in a supplement. So I take N-acetylcysteine. I'm going to take some before bed tonight too, just to be on the safe side. It's really great for COPD patients as well. You can read the research. It's out there. N-acetylcysteine and COPD and bronchitis and all that, right? Okay, let's look at some comments. COVID is back, and this time it's personal. Yeah, I kind of thought it was pretty personal the first time I got it, because even though it was like, oh, I've been it wasn't fun. Probably the worst headache I've ever had, but I've had flu that was comparable. But yeah, I didn't like the headache I had with it. That was not fun. I hate face masks and I can't breathe. Agreed. I hate them. I don't know. I still know people that wear masks all the time. I'm like, gosh, how do you do that? Because I can't do it. Unless I absolutely have to. Then I'm wearing an N95, which is I probably need to start doing that because I don't want to I don't want to get sick. I never got jabbed. Everyone that I know got the needle, got C or died. Most of my friends are under 50. Yeah, and Ed Dowd has a really interesting book out about that. So if you all have not heard about that, I would refer you to Edward Dowd, Dowd, Edward Dowd. He's got some great statistics and research on the numbers, right? Okay. Hello from Florida. Hi, Mary. Let's see. Too much vitamin C ruins your kidneys. Agreed. Any vitamin taken the wrong way, the wrong dose. That's why I'm trying to say, like, I'm not trying to treat you guys because, and honestly, I know the vitamin IVs are all the rage, but did you know, at least in the western part of the country, they're called Myers cocktail. They're given through an IV. And we do high dose vitamin C out here too, but you must test the patient first with a blood test. You're testing them for, it's called G6PD, which I believe is glyphosate 6 phosphate deficiency. And if they have that, they absolutely cannot take IV vitamin C or it will kill them. So yeah, vitamins are no joke. If you don't know what you're doing, you don't take it the right way, they can be harmful. So gotta know what you're allowed to take, what medications you're on, because some, things can affect other things. But That's what I'll say to that. BA, my niece works as an RN in a drug rehab center and she had COVID 3 or 4 times. Yeah, it's not going away. We're going to see this every season. So you guys get ready because if, Phoenix is what? Is it the number 12th largest city in the country? Mike, if you're listening somewhere, uh, are we number 10? I forget how big we are. 9? 9? Did you say? Oh, gosh. Okay. 5. We're the 5th largest city in the country. 5th largest city. If we're having an uptick in COVID here, because again, all day, oh, sorry, I'm getting a call all day long. Like I am completely frazzled. Then it's coming your way because the airports are open. Everyone's flying everywhere. So I will just say, if you do have to get on a plane, just, you know what to do. Just be careful. I don't want you to get it. Because it's no fun being sick. That's all I'm saying. Okay. Glynac and also takes homotaurine. Huh. Okay. Val, I'm the only person I'm really around is my son when he visits and I wash my hands a lot. That's good. And then Diane says, soon as school started here, kids have been sent home from school with COVID here in Indiana. Okay. Good to know. Yeah. It's that school season starting up. They're all bringing it around. Let's see. Robin, you had COVID and it was awful. Yeah. I don't know if you're asking this to the crowd. Have you ever taken vitamin I? You guys can read the comment there. That's been around since the 1970s. I'm calling it vitamin I, but you guys can read the comment there and see what I'm referring to because AI will scrape videos and listen for certain keywords. And I don't want to get deplatformed. But yeah, that's been around since the 1970s. It was originally discovered in the Japanese grasses around the golf courses in that area. And it's really great because it has, of course, anti-parasitic properties. That's really the original use. And in certain countries, they give that to their population once a year because that part of the population tends to get worms and a lot of parasites. But it does have antiviral properties as well. That is real. And all that information got suppressed because there was a treatment that they did want to push because there was a lot of people, I'm hoping they had their heart behind this and they thought this treatment was going to work, but there was a lot of money behind it as well. And let's not forget, in any topic, follow the money. But yeah, vitamin I has been around for a long time. It's actually, it's extremely safe, anti-parasitic, but it does have antiviral properties. So true story. Let's see. Oh, I had COVID a year and a half ago. I couldn't taste anything and I just slept. Yeah, the thing about I mean, I'm lucky I did not lose my sense of taste or smell. If you guys have had COVID and you lost taste or smell, okay. So you have nerves that connect from your nose right to your brain. And so you're actually getting, if you're losing taste and smell, those neurons that are connected to the brain are getting damaged. And so again, that's directly connected to the brain. So when people talk about brain fog, long haul COVID, I feel like, at least what I see in practice is, if they had it severe, like taste, smell, all that, then I do worry about like, okay, we got to get the brain calmed down, reduce inflammation, because I know it's affecting their brain. They're more likely to be dizzy, have tinnitus or tinnitus. And poor memory, or like, oh my gosh, my brain's not the same. I don't work the same. Yeah. So that's, to me, is one clue. And yes, there's treatment for that. So did I answer that question? I hope I did. Talking about vitamin C there. Mpox and dengue is all over the Philippines now. Well, dengue used to be such a South American mosquito vector-borne illness, right? Dengue fever. And I think that's the one that we used to, in medical school, it was called break bone fever, because your bones would just hurt. I think there was one gentleman that was in medical school with me, and I think he was traveling, and he did tell me he got dengue fever. He said he's never been more sick. His entire body just felt like broken. His bones hurt so much. But because there's been changes in weather patterns, those kind of mosquitoes are making it further up, getting towards North America. So we are seeing cases of dengue fever. I believe, I don't want to Google it right now, but I don't want to give out wrong information. So let me check really quick, because I thought they had some cases. I want to say it was in South Texas. Let me check really quick. Fever cases in Texas, because I feel like that's where I read it. Yes, I'm right. I was right. 79 cases of dengue fever, something we would never see in America. 79 cases in Texas last year. Again, it's mosquito borne. The season there was November and December. Let's see, over the last 5 years, they also had West Nile. They had 154 cases of West Nile virus in Texas. Now, West Nile virus, we've definitely had multiple cases here in Arizona. And again, that just feels awful too. Like your whole body aches, chills, headache. And sometimes some intervention needs to occur. But yeah, we're seeing these things we never used to see before. So thank you for that comment. Because so I'm not a fan of mosquitoes, because I know West Nile is in Arizona, hopefully not dengue yet. I'll have to see if it's here. But I'm really careful. Like when we open this door, I'm always like, shut the door. Because even though we're in Arizona, we do have mosquitoes here too. I do not want them in the house. And I tell you what, if I have one mosquito in my bedroom, I cannot sleep until I find and kill it, because I don't want to get West Nile virus. Yeah. But Mpox, yeah, that's concerning. It's all over the Philippines now. BA, yeah, if you go above and read the comments, it's not actually a vitamin I. It is something else, but that's how I'm referring to it. Go up in the comments and you can see it. See what I'm referring to, okay? Treatment for no taste and no smell. So there is an entire treatment for long haul COVID. I'm going to refer you to the research, because I don't want to treat you over YouTube, but you can read about this and talk about this with your doctor. So there's a coalition of doctors that came together. You can check out their website. I'm going to get it now so I can tell you the right website. So it's called the FLCCC Alliance. And this, again, is a group of medical doctors, traditional doctors that got together, and through patient practice, like seeing patients and seeing what works and what didn't, since day one of treating COVID. Like, a lot of doctors put their livelihoods, their careers, and license on the line because they were trying to figure out a treatment and to help this. And you all know the story. Some of them lost their jobs, all that, right? I don't have to tell you, but check out that website, because they do have a whole, like a whole chapter on treating long haul COVID. So I would invite you to look at that, because there's so much information there. And, some of them are prescriptions. So you would have to talk to your doctor about it if you do have long haul COVID. But yeah, many of the things, go ahead and check out the website. It's a beautiful website. It's very easy to navigate and read. Some of the supplements have been around forever. So you're like, oh, wait, I have that on my kitchen counter. Yeah, you probably do. So take a look at that. Okay. Ready? What about raw goat's milk? I don't know. I've read a lot about goat's milk. I myself don't drink that or recommend it for patients. Because I have, I'm seeing regular patients, and I have to be really careful. I know there's probably farmers watching and other people that swear by this, but, I have a traditional integrative medical practice. I don't recommend any raw foods, because I can't be sure, if I'm not producing that, I can't be sure that it's safe to ingest. I don't want anyone to get any harm. So I don't recommend any type of raw food, especially sushi. I mean, I'm sorry if you're a sushi restaurant, but I am very leery of raw fish and sushi, because I've talked about this in prior videos. I forgot the statistic, but there is a statistic about how many parasites are in sushi. And if you eat sushi on the regular, you might have some parasites. Just saying. But hopefully you're not one of the ones that does. Yeah. Okay. So BA says I have to be careful with getting COVID. I have a 94-year-old mom here with me and I'm immunocompromised. Well, then be careful because it's on the uptick. It's in if I'm seeing it all over the place, then it's got to be in the grocery stores and all that. And you know how people just kind of go out and cough and sneeze and don't cover their mouth. So maybe just be smart. Um yes, so call, I see what you're saying. But I think she moved. Mike, can you hear me? Mike, can you hear me? If you can hear me, didn't Kim Commando move? Yeah, she's not my neighbor anymore. She moved. But yeah, that was fun while they did. Okay. She probably moved to a nicer neighborhood. She moved a long time ago. Yeah, and her husband was a well-known radio announcer here in town too. Yeah, they lived on our street and yeah, they were really nice, really fun. Sad to see that they moved. But yeah, that was a while ago. Let's see, Leanne. Okay, never. All right. So Melissa says, my first time having COVID, I lost taste, smell, and still having symptoms. I smell cigarette smoke at times or a burning smell. I couldn't walk 3 steps without being out of breath. Okay, so that's a really good point because we have long known that smelling burning toast, cigarette smoke could be a sign of neuronal damage or a stroke. I've said in my previous videos, though, when I've had supernatural experiences, I did smell cigarette smoke, but I was not ill. Sense of smell was fine. But yes, those are symptoms of also having neuronal damage or a sinus infection or a stroke. You're welcome, Betty. Vancouver, Vixen says, I left nursing because of the BS I had to deal with, completely quit the profession. I hear you. I think anyone working in healthcare, well, I shouldn't say anyone. I think most people working in healthcare today, God love you because yeah, like I had quite a day today and I saw my husband, I'm like, I almost quit today. Like, yeah, today was quite the day. And so thank you for being here on this live stream because it kind of helps get my mind off the stress of today. But healthcare is not the same. I say it all the time. It's broken. And yeah, there's so much has changed. I feel like people are so divided, so angry, and it's trickling into other areas. It's trickling into healthcare. It's trickling into what you trust and what you believe in. And it makes me so sad when, like, I see the comments on my other videos and people are relaying images like, or I'm sorry, relaying ideas that, oh, yeah, I don't trust this anymore, or I don't trust that. Like, what a sad state of affairs we're in that you can't trust the regular traditional institutions that we've all believed in like our whole lives in America, right? Yeah. So, but I think we're going through, these are the hard times right now. They are going to get harder, and this is all just part of it. So, yeah. Okay. Thank you, Leanne. You answered that question. Let's see. Thank you. Yes, don't milk that kind of goat. Thank you. Love border collies. Thank you. Yeah, sushi is potentially dangerous. I know. And I have friends that love sushi. And you guys, I have to tell you the statistic because now it's driving me crazy because I think it's 30% of people that eat sushi may have parasites. I got to check that really quick. I got to fact check myself because of people. I don't know if most of my viewers eat sushi. Do you guys eat sushi? Have parasites. So, oh, yikes. More than 90% of wild caught fish may have parasite eggs. I guess that's not shocking. All raw fish can have parasites, but not all raw fish does, especially when you're eating at a clean, well-established sushi restaurants. I want to say it was something like it says sushi parasites have increased 283-fold in the past 40 years. And so again, they worry about the fish tapeworm being transmitted to humans, and Diphyllobothrium is the name of the fish tapeworm. You get it from raw or undercooked fish. And just like I'm not like I like a California roll, but that's fine. That's it. That's as far as I take it. I don't need to go the sushi route. It's like no. Let's see. Canned sardines in water. Yeah, that's fine. It's fine. Why would you smell cigarette smoke? Um, I don't know, Loretta, if you're asking someone else in the chat, but I'll just say I did put a video out where I smelled cigarette smoke, but I believe it's because my family member that passed away was kind of letting us know she was okay, because that's my belief and I could totally be wrong, but I'm sticking to it. But otherwise, people do smell cigarette smoke if they have, it's like they smell that burning smell. They'll say cigarette smoke, and that could be sinus infection. And like I just said, all the stuff I just said. So this person's asking, do you know, or do you have any idea what works best on spider bites? I woke up with 4 spider bites on my left arm and they are itching like crazy. Okay, so my question is, because I'm not going to treat you on YouTube, but here's what I would be kind of asking myself. Like, how do I know it's a spider bite? Like, are there spiders in the room? Like we always would say, if you call poison control center, like, and you end up having to go to the ER, they want you to get the spider in in a bag or something, because they want to know what kind, because how we treat like a brown recluse spider bite is very different than how, like say like your normal house spider that's non-venomous, but may have bit you, or, ant the ants are very active right now too, at least in my part of the country, because it's been like we just had a monsoon rain like an hour ago. It kicks up the ants the next day. So again, it depends on if it's a venomous spider or not. Um, and these are things you can read about. So I can just say this without treating you. You can read the research out there and the general information that most doctors, if it's not a venomous spider bite, traditional medicine would use, they would tell, and you can read about this. Traditional medicine says to put, cleanse with soap and water, and then you can apply like a hydrocortisone 1% to the area, or Caladryl or calamine lotion, something like that. But you want to wash it first. That's the general recommendations for um, the standard treatment of insect bites. But again, venomous spider bites are treated differently, because they can get necrotic and infected, and it's serious. Lots of comments about the sushi there. Talk to our Inuit people. They will tell you that's all they eat. Oh, well, yeah, absolutely. But you know what? Maybe they have an immune system that is like used to it and kind of deal with the parasite situation. So, oh gosh, that's a terrible comment. Someone said a good friend ate sushi for years and died a horrible death from parasites. Yeah, that's horrific. That's horrific. By the way, thank you all for being here and commenting, because if you're commenting, I know you're a subscriber. So I thank you for being here. It's very helpful. It's helpful for me because I feel like it's just a nice stress reduction. So I appreciate you guys being here. I hope it's creating a community for you as well. So it's entertaining and you guys feel a connection. So I love that. So again, thank you. And thank you to those like Loretta that joined my membership. So thank you guys for that. Thank you, Loretta, for joining. Okay. So vitamin. Yes, it is a code word. Yes. Okay. Let's see. A landline phone in my bedroom that was not activated rang a few days after my elder brother died. Yeah. Did I tell you the story of this is something I hope my mother doesn't. My mother is doing well, and but I don't think she watches. She probably goes to bed. But um, she told me when my grandma passed away, and my grandma was, here in Arizona, we have group homes. So it's like 4 or 5 people live in a home together. And usually it's like a whole team of people care for them. I think it's a great solution for people that don't ever want to go in a nursing home, because a group home, it's more like, because it's a house in a neighborhood. And anyway, so she was in a group home, and um, she passed away in that group home, and she had a little, old clock, like a family heirloom clock, like on her nightstand. And she passed away at 3 a.m. They called my mom. My mom went over there, and that clock that had worked for years and was a family heirloom, that clock stopped right at 3 a.m. and hasn't worked since. So it kind of reminds me of your telephone story. I'm like, yeah. And then so that's a family story. Um, and then another story is I have a very dear friend when her father passed away and she was grieving at home and very sad. And she told me that when she got the call of uh, when her father, like, okay, let me step back. Her doorbell rang. She gets up, nobody's at the door. She goes back down, she's on the phone, and just say the doorbell rang at 4 p.m. Now she goes, sits back down, she gets a call at 4:10. Your dad just passed away. What time do you think he passed? 4 p.m. And her doorbell rang and nobody was there. And her doorbell just doesn't ring. So I feel like sometimes you get these little clues from the other side, like a clock stopping, a phone ringing, a doorbell going off. So yeah. You guys have stories like that? Because, yes. Hi, B. Thanks for being here. An itchy mosquito bite. I use a Q-tip with a touch of bleach on it. Well, I'm sorry. I shouldn't laugh at that because do you guys know a solution we used to use in the hospital was called Dakins solution? You can look this up on the internet. Dakins, Dakins solution. And so we would have the patient say they had like type 1 diabetes and had a terrible wound ulcer, leg ulcer, and we'd have to pack the wound and dress the gauze dressing in Dakin solution. And it sounded very, very formal, very medical. Do you know what the ingredients are? Basically bleach, water, and baking soda. You guys, you can Google the recipe to Dakin solution. And and then if God forbid they gave them a prescription that they had to take home, I'm sure it was probably like $500. And it was like, so yeah. And then, in swimming pools, it is chlorine. I mean, that's not good for you, but you know, um, and I will tell you too, an infectious disease doctor told me once that when he had patients with really bad, because I'd ask him like, so I've got this staph infection, I've tried this, nothing's working. I'm going to hand this patient off to you. So one of his recommendations was he was telling his patients with MRSA, terrible staph infections, to take a bleach bath. They was it twice a day, and so kind of like we call it a sitz bath, where you don't fill the bathtub all the way. And he was telling them to put like a cup of bleach in a sitz bath, and he was telling his patients with resistant MRSA boils or infections to do a bleach bath. So there you go. Strange and interesting information from the past. Okay, I'm behind on comments here. Let's see. Thank you, Melissa. Christine, I have terrible reactions to mosquito bites, gigantic welts, painful burning. Yes, I have seen some other people that have terrible reactions to it as well. I'm curious, like, what do you do? And have you seen a doctor? Like, because then I wonder, like, do you react to other things? And do you have joint pain? And do you tend to, have a dry cough? Because someone that has like the histamine response would overreact to things like a mosquito bite. And there is, it's called there's a syndrome, histamine. It'll come to me. It's the over release of histamine. There's a name to it. Let's see. What over-the-counter medicine? Okay, now, so I noticed this comment said, did you say to take for COVID-19? I didn't say to take anything. I don't treat on YouTube. I don't diagnose and I don't treat. However, I would like to point you to the research article that came out of the University of Florida, where they were studying the animal models, in particular mice, with lactoferrin and diphenhydramine, two over-the-counter preparations, and they found that lactoferrin binded to the ACE2 receptor, so the spike protein could not bind and cause damage. And then the diphenhydramine, which is also known as Benadryl, was reducing the mast cell granulation and the histamine response. You can read the research article. I'm not saying to do that because, again, this was an animal study. So there you go. Hopefully that's clear. Okay. haven't had a sense of smell for 30 years. I worked in the medical field and found out I developed a severe allergy to latex. The diagnosis took years. After I got COVID, I could smell. Oh, that's so interesting. Really? That's so interesting. Oh my gosh. I'm trying to think through like why that would happen. Like I have some ideas, but yeah. And I know you probably know this if you're in the medical field, if you're allergic to latex, you have a high likelihood of being allergic to like bananas, kiwi, um there's other thing, bananas, kiwi, um I know there's some other big trigger foods. So I'm just curious if you already know that. Okay. Because you guys know that latex originally comes from the rubber tree plant. So anything that's like kind of like almost like a cousin of that plant, yes. Oh, is there a song that tells about the same story that when the clock stopped when their grandfather died? Yeah. Isn't that wild that that is a true story? My mother told me because my mother, I go out there a little bit more with stories. My mother's pretty like straightforward. So I completely believe her about that. My mom said Scott from South Carolina, hi Scott, says, my mom said a bird will crash into your window when someone dies. Well, oh my gosh, because birds crash into our windows all the time. Like they leave their bird imprint. They're always flying into our windows. Oh my goodness. Um, let's see. Okay, Leslie says, before my dad passed away, huge loud birds flew toward my window 3 or 4 times. It left me uneasy, and my dad died that Saturday. Birds can signal coming events. And I think particularly starlings, right? Starlings are very interesting birds. And, we always have hummingbirds around our house too. And I just love that. I love hummingbirds. We have a lot of doves. We have the white winged dove here in Arizona, and they make the most beautiful sound. I love them. And hi, Rita, talking about insect bite. Okay, well, I'll leave that alone because I don't know what that is. Okay, you guys are talking about mosquito bites. That's cool. Blew up immediately, didn't lose it. Yeah. So, and there's still some traditional antivirals that traditional medicine is using for COVID. I'm not telling you what to do, but what I tell my patients that I see in my office, so I can tell them, is, you've got to get 7 to 8 hours of sleep a night. You've got to get your vitamin D. I prefer it from sunlight. I do, because if you're getting enough antioxidants, it does protect your skin from sun damage. But I always say if you're very light skinned, it should be about 15 minutes a day. Again, this is what I tell my patients. I'm not telling you. You can ask your own doctor, but I tell my patients 15 minutes a day of sunlight. If you're darker skinned, it needs to be closer to 30 minutes, right? So sleep, sunlight, hydration, nutrition, getting rid of the stress in your life, right? It's kind of easy things and opening up the body's way of eliminating. So I'm a big fan of fiber. You guys have probably heard, well, on my old videos, all my new viewers, you probably haven't seen my old my old videos, and that's fine. But I do talk a lot about fiber. I try to eat the rule of 5. There's a whole video. My back's bothering me. This was a long day. There's a whole video I have on it if you want to know about that, but I'm a huge fan of fiber. Fiber is really great for liver support. And I tell my patients this, so are omega-3 fatty acids. So I love cold pressed extra virgin olive oil. It's really great. When you buy, at least what I tell my patients, when you buy olive oil in the grocery store, um, if it's cold pressed extra virgin, that's the way to go. Try to buy it. I tell my patients, try to buy it in the dark bottle. And, when you open something up, if it smells, oh, you guys, I have to switch my chair. My back is hurting. That's how you can tell it was a long day today because my back's bothering me. Yeah, don't cook with it if it smells rancid, because that means you're not going to get the health benefits from it. Olive oil should smell like fresh, almost like a fruit. That's a good smell. And oh my goodness, I feel like I'm having a back spasm, you guys. Hold on. Get off that pillow. I'm so sorry. Okay, now I'm going to be really tiny. Hold on. Let me move the screen. Because I can't sit on that pillow right now. Let me move my chair. Oy. Oh, see, that's what I get. I'm going to have to retire soon. Like my back cannot take all this, seeing all these. I saw so many sick people today. Okay. Oh boy. Oh my gosh, I'm totally having a spasm. Anyway, totally lost my train of thought, you guys. I'm so sorry. Let me see what's. Oh, okay. Terry, yeah, just read the research on it. I'm not saying to take that for treatment. I'm just talking about there's a lot of new research going on, and I'm just pointing you guys to reading about the research because I think it's fascinating, you know? BA says, I have to stay out of the sun because I take metoprolol and okay. Well, what I would tell my patients are because I do have some that can't go in the sun, you know, maybe they're on an antibiotic or maybe they're already recovering from basal cell or squamous cell. We have a lot of that here in Arizona. Then I counsel them on how much vitamin D3 they should take for them. There's not a standard dose for everyone. Everyone has a unique situation going on. But so I'll tell them about vitamin D3. And then I monitor their levels of D3 because too much D3 is not good for you. And then, of course, deficiency in D3 is not good for you because, again, D3, yes, it supports healthy bones, healthy mind, and a healthy immune system, but too much, not good. Okay. Oh, Susie Q says the employees at the hospital are now wearing masks. Obviously, I work outpatient, so none of us are wearing masks right now. Did I see anyone with a mask today? I'm trying to remember now. No, I don't think I did. But yeah, it's probably, I mean, I might no, I mean, if someone's really coughing, I might put on an N95 only because I don't want to get sick. It's not that I'm afraid of it. I just don't want to get sick. Allulose sweetener. I don't know what that is. I haven't heard of that. Okay, let's read this comment. Any thoughts on cancer possibly being parasitic based? And that's why some folks are claiming vitamin I and I'll say vitamin F because I'm very familiar with that as well, is curing them. So there is a lot of information out there on both of those. And so for example, when I said lactoferrin, the research is already out there of how it can be antiviral, antibacterial, antifungal, and anti-cancer. I am not saying it's a cure for cancer. Let's be clear, YouTube. I am not saying it's a cure for cancer, but like antioxidants, similar anti-cancer properties, right? So you have a healthy body. There is a lot of information about particular over-the-counter supplements and prescriptions that tend to have anti-cancer properties. You know what's interesting? Do you know where chemotherapy originally comes from? It comes from particular flowers, and here in Arizona, the vinca flower it's a very beautiful pink or white flower. Chemotherapeutics came from these type of flowers. So it originally came from a natural source, and I can't remember the exact story, but doctors were noticing in this particular island, these women were having great success of treating certain types of breast cancer. And the doctors were like, what are they using? They kept using this particular flower in a tea. And then they took that flower and they were researching it. So they used those same alkaloids in these chemotherapeutics. And now we have chemotherapy. So isn't that interesting to know it originally came from a flower? I love that story. So that's what I'm saying. And now we know vitamin I, right? That was discovered through a grass in Japan that has amazing properties, and its cousins, which, these other things used a lot. The Actually, they're using we use it a lot in medical practice. Um, Generally, those things are still used for parasite infections. Really, sometimes terrible cases of scabies. And in America, yes, we do have a tapeworm here too. Those are our go-tos, but they do have other properties. They do. Hmm. Let's see. BA says, my previous doctor told me to take Tums along with vitamin D3. One helps to absorb the other. I'm gonna say, I have so much to say about that. I'm trying to be like, how do I carefully say this? How do I carefully say this? There's really good ways to get your calcium. Um, Calcium is best absorbed, right? Calcium with magnesium and the presence of vitamin D, and I like D3. Those three are synergistically enhanced in the presence of each other for absorption. My issue with an antacid is, I'm 56. I've talked about that before. I have lower stomach acid. I don't want to inhibit my stomach acid because that's going to affect my immune system. That's going to affect like the things I'm eating, right? We have some immune power here. We have lymph nodes here, your tonsils, right? Then once it hits the stomach, you've got your stomach acids. That's kind of like your next defense, breaks down the food, may kill off some virus, fungus, and parasites. Like acid is really important. And when we get older, we don't make as much stomach acid, or some of us get terrible reflux and then we're put on medications to decrease it even further. So my whole thing with antacids is it's not my go-to for the way to get calcium. There you go. That's my take. You guys, I got to shift my position here, move my chair. Because if anybody watches back this video, they're going to be like, what is wrong with her? I'm like, yeah, well, if you guys have back issues, especially when like I was on my feet all day today. I didn't get to sit down hardly at all. Hi, Matthew. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your comment. Google it. Yeah. I know. I'm trying to carefully explain things and it's like, I got to be careful. Okay. And yeah. Susie Q's in Tucson. Oh, okay. Got it. Hello from Oklahoma City. Hi, Trish. Thank you for being here. Patrick, thoughts on alkaline water? Yeah. Okay. Like, I don't want to insult anyone, but no, no. I am a fan of minerals being in water. But again, we need our acid. The body has a very elegant way of balancing its pH, right? And one way we monitor that in blood work is I'll look at what's called, God, I feel like I'm shrinking, is we can look at the renal panel. Like I'll look at urea and I wish I had a blood panel in front of me. So there's certain things we can do to monitor kidney health, and certain things we can tell if someone's acidic or alkalytic. And it's a very precise, fine, narrow window and balance. So alkaline water, I mean, if someone wants to drink it, fine. But I'm like, it's not going to change your pH. It's just not going to. Now, it may alter temporarily your stomach acid, but I'm more of a fan. I like the over-the-counter digestive enzymes. I like the vegetarian kind. So I'll work with my patients, especially if they have had gallbladder issues, in enhancing their stomach acid. But yeah, so I don't recommend to my patients. I don't recommend alkaline water. So is that helpful? Okay, so thank you for the comment, George. I see that. Let's see. Oh, you're 56 too? Yay. Gen X in the house. And I know there's some boomers here too. We're Gen X and boomers, right? Am I missing any other generations? This says, how about probiotics to help with overall immunity? So be careful. Well, again, I'm trying. See, it's so hard to get tracked. I'm trying not to treat on YouTube. I am not treating. What I can tell you though, what I tell my patients between, here's my stories. I tell my patients to, oh gosh, where do you start? Well, first of all, I like going to the refrigerated section of the store for my probiotics because that ensures that they're usually a little bit of a higher quality and more fresh. I'm a big fan of Saccharomyces boulardii because if I have a patient that was put on a lot of antibiotics and they're dealing with C. diff, which is that really terrible kind of diarrhea that doesn't stop, and you can, if you're frail enough, that can just take you down. Like that's end of life stuff. And Saccharomyces is a really protective probiotic that fights C. diff. So if I'm looking for a probiotic, and I have GI and gut issues, I am looking for one that may have Saccharomyces. But here's my point with this. Um, I don't think there's like a one fits all probiotic because, like, again, I will look at my patient and say, "What are you dealing with? Are you dealing with gut stuff? Are you dealing with respiratory issues? Is it brain issues?" And then we find the right probiotic blend. Um, but for keeping it simple, yeah, I tend to shop in the refrigerated section where those probiotics are. Um, and again, too much of anything. Um, sorry, they're playing with the dog toys in the background. Too much of anything is maybe not a good thing because you can get too much of a good bacteria like lactobacillus, bifidobacterium, all that. And if that gets too high, that's not a good balance either. So, again, I like getting it natural. I like, eating prebiotic foods, like you've got I'm not a fan of sauerkraut, but it's a great prebiotic food. So your fermented foods are prebiotics because it feeds the healthy stuff in your gut. What feeds the bad bacteria that you don't want in your gut, things that can lead to weight gain, brain fog, IBS, IBD, all that are your sugars, your simple processed foods, your seed oils, your sugars. I mean, that's just like death in a grocery cart, right? Um, and I know I have a smart viewer base here, but you guys know when you cut out sugar, I hope I'm not yelling. Tell me if I'm yelling in this microphone. If you cut out sugar, oh my gosh, your joint pain gets so much better. It's remarkable. Okay, let's see. Are you holding the Am I holding the Rode NT one mic? I don't know what that means. You guys, if I'm being too loud or if I'm popping, let me know and I'll just set this down. Let's see. I have chronic lower back pain all the time. I fell down wet stairs and hit my back. Oh my gosh, that is my worst nightmare. I am sorry. Yeah, again, 56, I'm having back issues from being in healthcare my entire life and lifting and turning people. But today I was on my feet the whole time. So yeah, my back's really bothering me. Um, let's see. I can empathize with back pain. 4 years ago, I fell and fractured L2. It took several years and lots of rehab to get out of pain. I'm still very careful with your back. Oh, I am so careful now. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, today I literally thought, I might have to retire. I might have to retire. Like okay. So, oh, Patrick, you have hypoglycemia. Yeah. Do you know that's a precursor to type 2 diabetes? Like we all think, oh, it's low sugar. That's actually a precursor because it's already showing that you have blood sugar dysregulation. So anyway, you probably know that. Hmm. Okay. Here I am trying to get a comfortable seat. So, okay, well, I think this was productive. We talked about a lot of interesting health things today because, yes, I'll end it with this that everybody, if you just joined, we're seeing an uptick in COVID in Arizona. It is August 2024. So if you don't if you don't work in healthcare, you may not know this. I don't know if I don't watch the news much right now. I'm too busy. But if you don't know, I'm here to tell you it's what we're seeing in the patient in the office, like in the patient realm. So COVID is on the rise. So all I will say is get as healthy as you can because who wants to be sick? Nobody wants to be sick. And it's not fun. It's not fun having it, right? Even if you've had it, you don't want to get it again. It's not fun. I kind of feel because there's so much inflammation that goes on when you get it. And I feel like when people get it again, like they're like, oh, my brain fog's back. Like everything, it's like starting from square one again. You know? So, oh, see a good PT from a back issues, you think? Okay, Mike, I'll think about it. That's my husband, everybody. You could probably tell. There's his name. B says, please tell us that we should drink some alcohol for our back. Do you know, I can't tolerate, I don't know how many years ago. I could tolerate like a glass of wine or, a nice icy margarita. I can't do it anymore. I can't function for days. So I don't drink anymore. I can't. Plus, the risk of well, I'm a woman, so the risk of breast cancer rapidly rises. So I don't drink anymore. I don't want to risk it because, I've still got a young child besides my older child, and I want to be around to help care for them because I had a baby late in life, and yeah, he's still quite young. Let's see. So, okay, you guys, I think happy Thursday night. I hope you all are safe. Thank you so much for being here. This was kind of a weird me moving all around the place video, but I appreciate you being here. And let's do we'll and I hadn't been on for a few days because again, there's just been so many sick patients coming in. I've been really, really busy. So again, thank you. Have a good night, you guys, and I will see you again on the next one. Okay, and I'm going to take something from my back or something, maybe some turmeric, right? Some turmeric and a heating pad. And I'm going to try to figure out how to I forget how to get out of this. Okay, bye.